Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Anything But Wrestling podcast. I'm your host, Robb Radke, and we're going to talk about anything but wrestling.
Yes.
Since this is the first episode, I want to just give you a little synopsis. It's a very simple concept. I will have people from in and around the indie wrestling scene on my podcast, but we're just not going to talk about wrestling because you can watch them wrestle. You can hear them talk about wrestling pretty much anywhere. Uh, now, we are wrestlers. We know each other through wrestling. So, is wrestling going to bleed into conversations every once in a while? Yes, it's not a strict rule or anything. Relax, but I'm not going to be asking, how'd you get your start in wrestling? I'm not going to ask your favorite match or anything like that. So I'm going to just go ahead and introduce my very first guest, a fellow goon. He is the African American horror story and a little buff boy, a fellow little buff boy,
I'm working on
Eel O'Neal.
Yeah. Howdy.
Eel, how the hell are you, bud?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. I'm just living life. You know. I'm excited to be on the show, Rube. I'm excited after the sudden demise and maybe possible resurrection of the Radcast. I'm I'm excited to pod with you. Hopefully, we can create a ton of related pod punditry. That's my plan.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're looking great. You look jacked, bud.
I'm working on it, man. I gotta learn how to like pose. I think I'm so used to when I was thinner, the way that everything sat was kind of just I could just go into the whatever picture studio and just be like, here it is, here's me, and take pictures and now I gotta figure it out, like a good pose to, you know what I mean?
That's the thing that people don't tell you about when you transform your body is that you gotta pose different.
Yeah, it's like you gotta change it up. You gotta do different stuff now.
Yeah, I last time I had a session with Jay Lee, I was just like, okay, you got to tell me. I don't know what if what looks good. Please pose me. I don't know.
Yeah, tell me what. Yeah, tell me what looks good. And they're usually pretty good about it. But like this last little batch of photos that I took, I was like, I do not like it. And I think it's also because of the way my jacket was fitting and stuff like that. I was like, the next time I do it, I'm gonna do it a little bit differently. But like, it's like body transformations are so weird. That's another thing that we could be on. You and I could do an anything but wrestling pod about.
That's true. Well, I mean, we're going to talk about a myriad of topics today. It's not just the titular topic, which is the Batman 2022. Yes. We will get to that. I want to hold off on that. I want to hold off on that for a bit. That's kind of the main event, so to speak, of this one. But yeah, we talk about body transformation. One thing I was thinking about was that like I never had muscle mass before.
Yes.
So it's very your cardio's different when you got muscle mass. So people don't tell you that.
So there's a scientific reason, right? Is because your muscle is significantly denser than fat. So even, people are always in wrestling. There's been recently this conversation. Ugh, gross. We're already talking. We've already gone over about what people's bodies should look like when they wrestle. But people who have a lot of fat on their bodies actually can have the possibility of having better cardio than people with a lot of muscle on them, just because muscle requires more blood oxygen content than fat does. So when you have more muscle on your body is just sucking up oxygen, making it harder for you to go. I've gotten bigger. I am more tired more quickly when it comes to running and all that stuff.
Yep. It's a give and take, I guess. So I also want to talk to you about with the goons. I have a direct connection to
Yeah.
pretty much every goon. Just you
Yeah.
and Saul are the ones I kind of had to meet through the rest of the goons. I think by the time I met you, I was already a goon. Oddly enough.
Yes.
But one of the first things that we kind of meshed well with was our we have similar interest in podcasts.
Yes.
Which
Yeah, we
podcasting in
do.
general, it's pretty niche because there are so many podcasts and so many different genres of podcasts that, like, to talk to someone about the same podcast that you listen to is pretty rare.
Yeah, people could be like you're saying. There's a million podcasts, and people they constantly are like, "Oh yeah, have you heard this? Have you heard that? Have you heard this? Have you heard that?" And you and me immediately clicked on like 4 different podcasts, which is insane because those like many conversations get sucked into your, like, they get put into your soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they really become this intricate part of your life, and you don't realize how utterly specific it is until you try to have a conversation with somebody else about it. I had there's another podcast that I listened to, Action Boys, and Tracy Williams, Hot Sauce Tracy Williams, was like, "Are you an Action Boys listener?" He was like, "Are you part of the Action Faction?" And I was like, "I am an Action Boys listener since the beginning because I'm a fan of John Gabris."
Right.
And like you and me, like CBB, Teachers Lounge, Paul F. Tompkins, like all of his, all of his, that glorious media, like you and me both, like we connected on all of those lines. And then we got old Dustin. We
roped him in.
Yeah. we dragged him down. We put him in the quicksand.
I literally forced Dustin to listen to the Teachers Lounge on the way to a show. I had the aux. I said, "All right, we're just listening to a podcast, bud, because you gotta.
You're stuck, and you're never gonna get into it." And he was probably like, "Oh, like they just like it. Like there's no way that I'm actually gonna enjoy it." And now he's
6 seasons deep or wherever he's at, and just loving it.
Yeah, it's like, of course, I promise you, I'm right about this. I'm not crazy.
Yeah, it's because but aside from like Dust, I kind of have given up on like suggesting podcasts to people because, and I understand it is like I said, a very niche, especially the podcasts that we are kind of talking about.
Yeah,
are like alt comedy, which is like niche in and of itself. There's a very specific market for it. And then an alt comedy podcasts, an even smaller like window of people that would get it. But like that, the Teachers Lounge is definitely like, Dustin, you have to listen to this.
Yes, that's going to be exactly what once he's done with Teachers Lounge, I'm going to suggest to him Old Spont. I'm going to Spontaneous Nation, because I think that he would like how artful, like there was no way, like even Thrilling Adventure Hour and like Super Ego, like they're so dramatic, like they involve so much theatricality, so many like, oh, there's music and there's sound effects and there's and there's different voices and there's different characters, and like there's kind of a metatextual aspect of it, but also like they're trying to stay deep in these characters, blah blah blah. And there's like for Spont, it's like you have the buttons where you can go forward and like you can make the scene go forward in time, back
sounds,
backward in time, or you can do, and it's like that involves so much like it involves so much investment as far as it being like an audience member, and it sounded like the Spont like the live shows did well, but there was no way that it was going to last for a long time. Like there's no way that I could have carried. It's not like
you can't maintain. Yeah.
Where it's there's so much investment for the artist and everything. But the thing about those, and the thing about like things like Super Ego and Thrilling Adventure Hour, is there's such testaments to that theatricality that I can definitely see like somebody like Dustin, who enjoys theater, who enjoys like deep cuts as far as like programs that he watches, being invested in it. But like as something that's like a casual listen, like no way.
No. There's very few podcasts I would like recommend to just like anybody. Like I think Doughboys is a fairly universal concept.
Yeah.
Just fast comedians talking about fast food, rating fast food, taking it semi seriously.
Yeah.
Things like that.
That's like a super successful model. Like, hey, it's two people talking about movies, talking about video games, talking about fast food, something that everybody has access to, that they're funny, but they have a very, that's like very easy. Hey, this is the game that we're doing this week. This is what happens in the game, blah blah blah, and this is what we rate it. Easy.
This is something that we know a lot about. Like we care a lot about it, which is like, and it's relatable because I feel like a lot of people don't want to admit, like in this day and age, that they like fast food or chain restaurants or whatever. It's like a dirty little secret, but like I love Arby's. I'm gonna tell you that I love Arby's. I'm gonna tell you that they have a new menu item that's fantastic. The burgers are also like,
they ran out of the Wagyu. I haven't had a chance. I haven't had a chance to have any of it.
Do you know why? Because they're good.
Yes, because they're so good.
They're very good. It's become like they actually talk about it on Doughboys, and I don't know if it's weird to talk about another podcast on a podcast, but like, they talk about how if you're making fun of Arby's in 2022, you're a hack. It's a hack bit.
Yes.
It's you're latching on to someone else making fun of it. It's the cool thing to do. It's the redheaded stepchild or whatever. But like, no, it's good. And like McDonald's, everyone like is like, oh, I don't eat that stuff. And it's like, that's fine.
I mean,
but like
yeah.
It's there. Harris Whittles used to say on CBB, like, McDonald's is engineered by scientists, like corporate scientists, to be objectively delicious.
Yeah.
It's almost, you can't argue it. Like, it's delicious. It's bad for you. No one's going to argue there, but like,
it's good, and there's something on the menu that there's at least one thing on the menu that any person with any flavor palette, like a flavor profile, can eat. That's why they make it that way. And like, it comes down. It really comes down to like the Marvel version of like the Disneyfication of everything. You know how they say that, where like they want everything to be four quadrants. Like, hey, we really want everything to be super enjoyable for everybody, right? But like, there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
there's nothing wrong with that. That you can enjoy fast food. You can enjoy, like, the same way that you can enjoy all types of movies. Like you can enjoy an A24 film that's like super deep cut, super metatextual, super like allegory ridden, and then you can enjoy a Marvel movie. You can enjoy all those things, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's so weird. It's so weird to me when people define themselves by a dislike of things that other people like.
And like, it's a personality trait.
Yes.
Like, I don't like that thing that everyone likes. All right, cool, bud.
Yeah, all right. If you want to live in the negative, it's like with Arby's. Like, there's only one good joke that I've ever seen, and it's the Simpsons joke, right? Where they're on the island and they say like, "Oh, hey, I'm oh yeah, blah blah blah. Oh my God, we need food." And it's like, "Oh, there's an Arby's." And it's like, "Oh my God, we're gonna starve," right? Like, yeah. Like,
and that was what, a decade ago?
Yes, no more, 20 years ago.
Yeah,
like 20 years ago, from a deep cut Simpsons joke that seemed to have permeated the pop culture. But like, go to an Arby's.
It's almost like some people watch that and we're like, oh, the Simpsons don't like Arby's, so therefore I don't like Arby's.
Yeah, and like, that is a joke that you could make about any fast food restaurant. Like, with the exception of a of McDonald's, like,
because it's
Yeah, because they're the king, but it's like
They're the
when you're
Disney, Coca-Cola, like they're top of the game. You can't really, no one really buys that joke.
yeah, yes, yeah. But you can do that with anything. If you're making a oh my god, like do you have anything to drink? Like is there anything to drink here? And you open up and it's like you open up a fridge and it's like it's nothing but RC cola. It's nothing but Mountain Dew code red. It's nothing but it's nothing but random bargain brand soda. It's nothing but Dr. Pepper. As long as it's not Coke, that joke works. Yeah, exactly. So like don't it's like it's a lot less clever than you think that it is to dislike Arby's. You and I are in full agreement here.
I've never seen a new Arby's joke. You know what I mean? It's the same like 5 jokes that people just kind of pass around and share. And it's just like it's not funny. It's never been funny aside from when The Simpsons did it. And that's kind of weird. I don't know. It's almost like a reverse advertisement because it's like a reverse of like a sponsored athlete or whatever, because it's like, oh, Michael Jordan drinks Gatorade, therefore I drink Gatorade.
Yes.
Here comes The Simpsons with this one Arby's joke.
Yes.
That's I don't know, man. But like I shout from the mountaintops. I've gotten like coworkers at my shoot job like turned around on like, no, try Arby's, then come back to me, because the people who like make those jokes might not have had it in like the past 10 years or so because someone made a joke and they're like, or Jon Stewart was doing it for a while on the Daily Show where it's just his bit
kept
was
being
just
a recurring Arby's thing. And it's just because it was a bit, right? Somebody in the writing room got the bit off once, it got a good joke, and then making it a recurring bit started being a funny joke, and then making it a recurring bit became the even joke. I mean, it's the same thing as last week tonight with John Oliver about the oh god, what is his name? The big tall actor with the long hair, the prominent nose, the guy who played Kylo Ren.
Oh,
Adam Driver.
Adam Driver.
I found it. Adam Driver. Where they keep doing this bit where John goes into detail about how attractive he thinks that Adam Driver is, and at first it seems innocuous, and then they do it over and over and over again, so that you start to realize that like the bit that they're playing is that John Oliver thinks that Adam Driver is attractive, and then finally they have Adam Driver on the show and they make mention of it. It's like the joke isn't funny because the content of the joke is funny.
Correct.
Because, yes, the joke is funny because of the recurrence of the concept. Yeah, and it's like it's
almost like a brand. Like my brand is this joke.
Yes, and it's funny, but it also like it diminishes the fast food chain that like isn't bad. No. It's not. It's truthfully not bad. Honestly, it's right there. But if we want to talk about a place where I've been that has subpar food almost unanimously, it's Burger King. Burger King is the place where you go and it's like the food is edible, but it's not. It's not above substandard.
I can't remember who. I think it was probably someone on Doughboys that was talking about Burger King, and I think they kind of summed it up. I was Sam Richardson, the guy from I Think You Should Leave.
Yes, yeah.
He was saying even the worst Whopper you've ever had is still pretty good.
Yes,
but to me, I if I ever go to Burger King, which isn't common, just because I don't have one that's super convenient near me. Yeah. If I go to Burger King, I get a Whopper. I get nothing else. Like I'll get the Whopper combo. I will not try your new featured item. I will not try.
It's not good. It's not good. I can guarantee you. I've tried all of their like ice cream treats. No.
Just the Whopper is the standard, and it's okay. It's a fine sandwich. Yeah. It's a very simple sandwich. It's that's what I'll get. I'll say hot take here, even though our topic wasn't necessarily fast food or anything. I'm just gonna throw down the gauntlet. I think Wendy's is overrated as hell. People will constantly, when I bring up Arby's, talk about how Wendy's is just the greatest. I've never had a good experience at a Wendy's.
It's so the the uh the Frosty does a lot of the heavy lifting,
Which is
does
a
a
mediocre treat to me too.
yeah. Well,
It's
it's ice cream in a cup. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's soft serve.
Mhm.
The Frosty is soft serve. And
Yeah.
I know supposed to be like a special formula with like a special whatever. It's soft serve.
Yeah.
Me and Brooke had the strawberry Frosty most recently.
I had that recently as well.
Yeah, and she was like the flavor isn't a strong enough strawberry profile for me to enjoy this. She was like, if you take the McDonald's strawberry flavor and you put this with it so that it's a medium ground, because the strawberry at McDonald's is very, very strong.
Very strong.
Yes. And the strawberry at Wendy's was next to nothing, almost vanilla. You know what I mean? She was saying,
to me, it was like vanilla with like a teaspoon of like strawberry syrup, like Hershey's strawberry syrup or whatever. It was,
it's like this could be more strawberry. I understand that it might be higher. I mean, like for me personally, Taco Bell. I mean, and this has been since I've been a teenager and into my 20s, into now. Taco Bell is like goated for me, and like I think that's like a blasé take, because it's pretty easy to recognize that Taco Bell as it exists is passable food. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's hard to mess up.
Yeah,
but like
it's just tortilla with meat, cheese, and vegetables. I mean,
six times on the menu. Six times on the menu. That's all it is. And then you can take and leave various different versions of that, but like that's all it is.
Yeah, we're gonna swap out the shredded cheese with like a cheese sauce for this menu item. Then I mean, passable. I mean, it's never really gonna let you down.
It's the same thing. It's the same. It's hard to miss, which is why making a big segue into the primary topic of this, which is why when you do miss at times, people will defend your misses. Big time. So like
I can get into a big wrestling take on that, but this is anything but wrestling, so I won't.
But it's exactly that. It's like it's like this is the primary marker, right? This is the standard of this is what we do. So if we miss here, what we can do is wink wink tell people no matter what, it's good, and strongly defend that with like minimal changes. You know what I mean?
Right.
With like minimal changes.
So I do want to, before we get to that main topic.
Yes.
I said something on Twitter the other day, and you said we'll discuss it on the pod. So I want to get to that real quick, and then we'll get into the main event. So I tweeted that my hot take is that Beyonce is overrated.
So I will put it this way. I think that Beyonce, and the thing that I love about Beyonce, is one of the same things that people love but don't recognize that they love about people like Lady Gaga and people like Britney Spears, is that they are a product. Okay. Beyonce is a product. And one of the things that I love about Beyonce is that her level of self-awareness of the product of Beyonce is very high. I don't think
she's a brand.
She's a brand. And at no point
I respect that.
Yes, at no point ever has she ever thought of herself as anything other than a brand. I think, like for me, Beyonce, who is she's an incredible mover. She's an absolutely beautiful young lady now. She's older than I am. She is an absolutely outrageous, like nutters singer. She is essentially what a corporate dream of a being is, with the caveat that she is 100% in control of her brand, as opposed to beholden to a corporation. They would prefer that she be like a Britney Spears during her conservatorship, where like she's incredible. She can sing, she can dance, she can act. She's a brand, and she has to do whatever we want her to do.
Right.
Beyonce is Roman Reigns now.
Mm-hmm.
That is my hot take. Beyonce is Roman Reigns. She knows exactly what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
She is cool to dislike, but also I think pretty much every single person who comes, like anybody who's having a genuine conversation with you about Beyonce, if they're having a genuine conversation with you, they're going to say she's talented.
Right.
If they say that she's untalented, guess what? They're not having a conversation of merit with you.
Right.
Yes.
Correct. See, that I would never say that she's not talented.
Yes. Yeah.
I just, and I overrated is probably a strong word for me to use as well, because I don't want to be that's overrated guy, because I've done it twice now already in my first episode of the podcast. But Wendy's and Beyonce right here as far as being overrated. But no, I just like, to me, it's just never resonated with me personally. But I can understand what you're saying as to where everything she does is palatable.
Yes.
She's like a Taco Bell. It's every relatable to everyone. She doesn't miss because everything is just to a certain standard, and like
she holds herself with a very high standard. And I think that her level of talent and her level of fandom protects her when she, like I'm saying, with the main event, protects her when she misses. So like another person who's like this is Nicki Minaj. Nicki has the what do they call themselves, the Barbs, and like those people enjoy getting into fights on the internet about Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj.
Yeah. So she's bulletproof when she when she does stuff that like isn't, because like really honestly, like when was the last time that Nicki Minaj really like hit a home run? You know what I mean? But Beyonce, every time Beyonce comes, Beyonce really spreads her stuff out. She'll usually put 2 or 3 years in between when she does albums, which is smart.
Build anticipation,
because, exactly. Make her fans feel like, oh God, we haven't gotten an album in so long, even though like literally the Carter's album came out, I believe 2 years ago. Like,
because then it's not just a release of an album, it's a moment.
Yes, and
when you've waited so long for it, we're living in a moment right now of this album,
and that's how they feel. You know what I mean? I totally see when people are like, I don't like Beyonce for this, and this reason. I'm like, I get it, but like she really is. I mean, Cena might be the better metaphor, even though like that not exactly 1-to-1, but like, if Beyonce puts her name on something, it's going to be successful no matter what. And that's why she's built that brand over years and years. And like, I mean, if we're talking about child stars like Britney Spears and like Christina Aguilera, like Justin Timberlake, like those people who like since birth have been, she's the same way, except she's just black. Literally black media is different than white media is.
For sure.
Yeah.
I was listening to some Boyz II Men the other day because it's what I do.
Yeah, it's good music.
And I was just thinking about, there's like a documentary on Netflix called This Is Pop. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
The first episode is essentially just about Boyz II Men and how the kind of pretty much the rise and fall. And the fall is pretty much we got white people to do it.
Yeah.
Like here comes Backstreet Boys, here comes NSYNC. They're making the same music, maybe not as good. They're not as good as singers, but you know what I mean.
That's always been the case. You know what I mean,
right? Yes. But the thing that differentiates the NSYNCs and the Backstreet Boys for the Boyz II Men, and it was posited in the documentary, is little like white teenage girls can have an NSYNC poster on her wall.
They can't
have 4 black dudes on their, so they just weren't as marketable, and that's bummed me out. Like every time I listen to Boyz II Men now, it bums me out because I just think about it.
Their music is unreal. I mean, it's like exactly like that, and that's how we get into but like you can't. That's how we get into having like B2K and like those kind of boy bands where like it's like young, where they're like young guys, because like we can do, but like I mean, honestly, who in Middle America, like, it doesn't play in Peoria mindset, like, can your daughter have a picture, have a poster of B2K on her wall if she is like a white girl in, in Peoria?
Probably not.
Probably not. And like, not even, and it feels weird because it's like not even like it's a cultural thing. It's not even like, oh, the dad would be like, I don't want those black guys on my wall.
Right.
But it's like, if we had company, how strange is it to have, but like any other race of kid, you probably like any other race of person, you probably can have that poster on your wall. Like, why wouldn't you have like BTS or,
Right.
or like
Menudo.
or yes, or like Blackpink. You can have them
Ricky Martin was huge.
Yes, you're perfectly fine. But for some reason,
there's a line.
Yeah.
And that's the line. Black is the line.
Yeah. It's that's so fascinating.
And it's funny because it's like Boys to Men are just like, there's nothing threatening about them.
They're singing about love. They're nerds even.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The cardigans, like, as American as apple pie, you can't have them on your wall just because societally that has become the line.
Yes.
And it's just a bummer because I always like thought like, oh, well, I guess Boys to Men just had their time and it came and went. But nope, apparently cultural appropriation was the downfall.
Yes.
And
it makes sense. It makes sense. They probably, I mean, like, if I'm them, I go from singing records to making records for white guys. Like, literally, that's and that's pretty much what they all do now. They all like, okay, let's produce music. And I mean, it's genius because you probably actually make more on the back end, have to travel less. But like, I like their music is just so good. They're all so talented.
Crazy good.
Yeah.
Like
there's a scene in Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt where Titus,
excellent show.
Yes, great show. Where Titus is forced to sing at a like random Korean funeral because they're expecting the singer, and he shows up and he starts singing a Boyz II Men song, but instead of singing, he's getting through it, and then instead of singing End of the Road, which is the song that you would sing at a funeral, he sings I'll make love to you. He's like singing it and somebody's listening to it and like, what song is this? And somebody goes, oh God, he's singing the wrong he's singing the wrong Boyz II Men song.
No, I was always a huge Boyz II Men. Like, I was a child, like a literal child. It was like 94, 95 when they were at their peak. And I was like 5 years old listening to Unbended Knee.
Yeah.
Like, I am feeling this. I relate to this song. I think girls are icky. Obviously have never had a relationship, but I feel this.
It's beautiful music. It's beautiful. That and like there's a couple of Casey and JoJo bangers too that when I was younger. Well, but like, so that music is so, and like even my mom did not let me listen to music that was not Christian music for a very, very long time. And then being around my cousins and my grandparents and my uncles and aunts, I absorbed so much random black music that I'll hear just on the radio or tune into an oldie station and be like, that's crazy that got in there. Cause like I was totally removed from like any type of pop music at all. And the fact that it like got into my head means that it had to have been everywhere in black culture.
Right. No, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Casey and JoJo was everywhere. Like, I feel like maybe this is just me and my worldview. I feel like if it got to me, then it got everywhere because I'm like just a biracial kid in fucking Delaware. So, but like Casey and JoJo had 2 or 3 songs that were at every high school dance or middle school dance. Like, which is again another point. Like, everyone loves these songs, but God forbid we have their poster on
a wall, and like being able to sell them to we're gonna sell them to. I mean, like I really feel like you would have to do some kind of like crazy mind, because like even now I feel like there would be parents who would be like, oh, this is nuts. I mean, it's the same reason why, and I go on this tangent all the time about why we haven't had like a black Disney prince yet, just because I really do think that if you made a movie where the romantic it's very hard for people to sell black guys being your romantic interest in a movie that's not for like marketed towards the black, the black quadrant. It's like very hard. Like apparently getting Luke Cage in the first season of Jessica Jones, if it had not been like a huge plan to have the Luke Cage show, like wouldn't have happened. Yeah.
That's crazy to every time just growing up I ever saw like an interracial couple on television, it was a huge deal.
Yeah, it feels
because
crazy.
It does not happen.
Yeah.
Even to this day, it happens, but it doesn't happen.
No.
And every time it does happen, there's a there's a middle America uproar.
Well, or they water it down. Like they'll like really, really, really water it down for American consumption. Like kind of make it the relationship really goofy, make it really, really silly, make the black guy really, really goofy, make him like not necessarily that even God on the Good Place, the black guy in that who plays like a nerd, a sort of middling unsure. Like they in the later seasons, like because The Good Place is a great show, they just go full into like, the guy's hot. Like when they like really lean into it being like, dude, this like it's crazy to have to pretend that he's not. So like why are we doing that at all? But like that's like a ton of shows where you'll be like, this guy rocks. Like this guy's a stud. Why is he not on Action Boys, the movie, God, what is it? Like Steven Seagal and one of the older Wayans. They're in a movie together and they keep being like they're like, Steven Seagal wants to be funny and he wants to be charming in this film. And because he's the lead of it, they're writing him like that.
Right.
But they're like, but every single thing he's doing, this guy is doing, but he is just doing it effortlessly. Yeah.
Better and without effort.
Yeah. And like being charming, being funny, being handsome, looking great. And it's like they keep piling it on like, oh yeah, Steven's the cool guy. This guy, he's the kind of dorky comedic relief. They keep piling it on, but they keep being like, man, they're really trying to disarm this guy's charm. And it's like, it's not working.
It's not happening. He's just too charming.
Yeah.
You can't pretend that he's not. They do that. They do that in Hollywood with a lot of different things too. Like I feel like white women get that, right? Where it's like, we're gonna pretend that this woman is not a supermodel.
Yes, absolutely perfect. Try to act like this woman is not literally the convention, the standard convention of beauty. Like glasses and
or even not like
that's a bit.
Always Sunny. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. They try to make the main character, the main woman of the cast, D. Yeah. They try to tell me that she's not attractive, but I'm like, that's a model.
Yes. She is an attractive actress. That is an attractive woman. There's nothing like, I mean, like her personality being bad is, I think they're real but like everybody making fun of her looks. It's like, why in no place in the world, especially in Philly, would they be like, oh man. Or they'd be like, oh,
never seen someone who looks like that in Philadelphia.
No way. What are you talking about?
How much disbelief am I supposed to be expected to suspend? I mean, I've been to Philly. All right. So let's just get into our main discussion topic here.
Yeah.
I watched this film today again this is the second time I've seen it.
I watched it last night.
I kind of hoped I would never have to watch it again. I hate this movie. We're talking about the Batman 2022, Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz. When I say I hate this movie, I've never said I hated a movie before in my life. I've disliked plenty of movies.
Yes, but hate and
I hate this movie so much.
I'm there with you, but it took me, so like us having a conversation is the way that it got me there, because I left being like, I don't love this. I left being like,
Right.
I don't love it.
Mhm.
And then we got to talking, and me and Brooke kept being like, oh hey, like I don't like this and that. Yeah, I was like, and I didn't like this either. And I was like,
Mhm.
I didn't like that, I didn't like this, but I did
It
like the
piles up.
Batmobile. Yes, because you find small little aspects. You find smaller aspects of it to where it keeps going. Like there's a level. The entire story is modeled after a run of comics, I think written by Tom King, the Batman Year Zero run.
Mhm.
Like even down to the suit. Like the suit is definitely modeled after the Batman
Mhm.
Year Zero run. And like the concept of him on a motorcycle, definitely like that's big time. That's big time Year Zero stuff. But the point of Year Zero is to show how Batman kind of went from like this guy who is just kind of trained into martial arts
Mhm.
and like clearly hell-bent on avenging the concept of crime, not like, oh hey, I'm gonna get, like I'm going to eliminate crime, which is an impossible task. Like literally
Mhm.
it's quixotic, right? It's like
Mhm.
by every measure of the word, like straight up his his windmill is crime.
Mhm.
There's no way that you can eliminate crime, even if you were the richest man in the world, which he proves.
Mhm.
Even if you donated to all of or at least by the method that
Mhm.
he does, the methodology that he does it. There's no way that he can possibly solve crime, but he's going to keep trying because he just wants to say, I know that if I try hard enough, I can save one city.
Mhm.
But the problem with that is Matt Reeves is so based on making this story about taking the Batman that we know, and making him some kind of hopeful symbol, which isn't necessarily what Batman does,
Mhm.
um, and showing that from point A to point B to point C to point D, he's inept. The only thing that our Batman can do in this movie is fight. And even
Mhm.
then, he gets knocked out, beaten up, blown up, makes enough mistakes over and over and over and over again that truthfully, there is not like he would be a terrorist at this point. Law
Mhm.
enforcement should, with the amount of mistakes that he made and lives that have definitely been killed by his
Does
involvement in Gotham.
much more harm than good.
Yes, he's a terrorist.
Mhm.
At no point do they show, oh, this is a situation that the police couldn't have handled, because honestly, the Riddle's not that nuts.
Mhm.
Um, it's not like this isn't a situation that the police couldn't have handled. This isn't
Mhm.
something that the FBI couldn't have dealt with, which in my mind is the stuff that the Batman is supposed to be dealing with. Batman's
Right.
whole story is, this is something that the police can't handle.
Mhm.
I'm not just showing up whenever you want me to show up and walking in. Like, even, oh my god, and we can go through the whole plot, but like even down to the protect and save a single life of anybody
Mhm.
who is in the Riddler's crosshairs. He
Mhm.
doesn't do any of it.
Nope.
So what is the point of this movie if we're watching it? At the beginning, him being like scary and the guy being like, please don't hurt me. And then at the end, him with the little girl, and she wants him to stay, is supposed to be our little change moment. But from then to there, they don't show me any type of action that would make me think, one, the Batman is a good person, or
Mhm.
two, this job is a job that he should be doing.
No, or even wants to do, but the whole thing with the change moment with the girl saying please stay, as opposed to the beginning where she's like, where the kids, please don't hurt me. The movie's 3 hours long. How
Yes,
am I
it's too long.
supposed to hold on to that
Yes.
beginning moment for that end moment to really even have an effect?
Yeah.
Like I would dislike this movie at an hour and a half.
Yes.
At 3 hours, I
You hate it.
hate it.
Yes. I feel so. The last stadium, the Gotham Square Garden, the stupidest
Gotham
fucking.
Square Garden. Oh my god. I
the,
took notes. I
the,
took notes today, and
the,
one of the notes I wrote, and I was anticipating writing this note, was just Gotham Square Garden.
yeah. Period. Come on, guys. It's
The
not New York.
laziest.
Gotham's in New Jersey. Specifically, Gotham is
Mhm,
in New Jersey. They have made it. They have made it specifically. It's not a replacement for New York. New
mhm,
York City exists. There are superheroes who exist in New York, and then um and then Gotham is in New Jersey, and representative of sort of the more crime ridden aspects of Jersey and New York. It's so riddled with an absence of fun. It does not want to have fun. It does not want to be fun.
It
It
fights
wants
fun.
Yes, it wants to be serious and scary, and it doesn't want to. It does not want to be fun. It does not want to be enjoyable. It wants to be miserable, and like it turns into a miserable slog over and over and over again. We watch our hero fail, barely live, barely make it out, make mistakes that straight up do not make sense. Like him staying in that proximity to the bomb while the Riddler is going 5, 4, 3,
It's just dumb.
2 is dumb.
It's
He's
just
gonna
dumb.
explode. You can't save him. It's done. The last 30 minutes of him being in the the last 30 minutes you don't need. You literally
Don't
just
need it. Could be another movie.
The Riddler, I don't even think, I think the Riddler just says, "Hey, I'm blowing up," which is dumb anyway. I'm blowing up the seawall, which nobody's mentioned at all during this movie. It feels like a corporate note where they were like, "Hey, we need something to happen for Batman to have a big fight sequence near the end," which is exactly, I guarantee you, what they probably said. Hey, Batman has to have a big fight sequence at the end. That's what we do in every other Batman movie. Well, this isn't and Matt Reeves should have stuck to his guns and said, "This isn't every other Batman movie. We've already solved. But if you want to blow up the seawall so bad, which is stupid, but whatever,
So dumb.
you blow up the seawall, right? Boom, it wrecks Gotham, and then just show a quick cut, a bunch of cuts of at the end of it, Batman going, "I'm helping people," and him helping with the airlifts and stuff. We don't need the whole big fight scene because the fight scene takes too long.
It's pointless. What after the seawall has blown up? What does Batman actually do?
Nothing. He barely saves the mayor. The mayor gets shot.
And they did not make me give a shit about that mayor one way or another.
Yeah.
It's like, we remembered this character that we have. We'll use her as this plot device. But I don't. It was just a barely a C story, the election or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, so the Riddler at the very end, like right before the Joker appearance,
It's also dumb.
is looking out the window and crying. He's very upset. But I was like, what you did exactly what you wanted to do.
You do. Other than and if you didn't want to get caught, then this is not the thing that you should have been doing, because this feels like hey, this is my last play to rid Gotham of tyranny, and then I'm definitely getting caught or killed.
But like Batman didn't stop anything that you wanted to do.
You did. In fact, he helped.
You blew up
he even said it. Yeah. You even said,
you blew up the seawall.
He says I wanted Carmine Falcone, and I wanted the only way I could have gotten to him is if you would have brought him outside of his club. That was like the second time I watched it, that was the point where I went, God damn this movie. Because if you want him to be a hero, being like, oh, he helped the villain do the thing that he wanted to do. Yeah. And then we don't have any kind of turn. We don't have any kind of, if you don't even need, because I know that they wanted it, but you don't even need him getting caught. Save the getting caught thing for the end. For the end of the movie. The end of the movie should be, hey, the bad guy gets caught.
That feels like the end of the movie.
Yes.
And then there's still like 45 minutes left to go. And so I watched it with Danielle, my fiance, today. She did not see it with me when I saw it in theaters.
Yes.
But when I came home from the theater, when I saw it, she got an earful.
You were like, I was furious.
How miserable I was. And she could not believe that the movie could be so frustrating that I would have this reaction. Today, she apologized to me. She said, I'm sorry you had to experience that in a movie theater. Because she was miserable. And I said, imagine like you're here in the comfort of your own home. You're cross-stitching. You have a hobby to distract you. In the theater, I felt like a hostage.
Yeah.
I kept saying, please let me go.
Like, let me out.
Let me leave. I've seen the story. I've
Let
seen the
me.
actual
You're,
story of what's happening.
you're making me feel crazy. This feels gaslighty because it feels like
Well, I feel like the world is gaslighting me by telling me it's a good movie.
good movie. Oh, this was so fantastic. I get so like the thematic stuff. I get so like that's the thing that people will always try to harp on. Oh,
It looks cool.
Yeah, or did you get this? And like what? Like the first time we see the out of the darkness trick is the Riddler doing it, Batman. Right? They're using the same methodology. Blah blah blah. Then the next time we get the shot of the Batman and he walks out of the darkness the same way. Oh my God! Look at that. It's parallels. This movie is miserable and it doesn't want to be happy. It doesn't want to be happy. It doesn't
bummer.
It doesn't want to be happy. Literally, he makes enough mistakes to put out, like, he's awful to Alfred. That's the one thing that it's like, that's supposed to be the one relationship where we see that he's a human being. Right? He's not this weird sociopath who goes out and beats up criminals. It's like, oh, he does have love in his heart. He has a father figure. He has somebody who he cares about. I don't mind the "you're not my father" snip, so don't tell me what to do. I don't mind that.
Yeah, that's
but like
on brand.
Yes, but like truthfully being like miserable to this man who raised you is like, he's not likable at all. He's an unlikable Batman, which is crazy because DC
You're
Comics,
supposed to like him.
Yes, DC Comics is like, it's betting on the fact that you like Batman.
Is
like, hey,
likable.
Yes.
On paper, Batman is horrible.
Yes.
But he's likable because he's cool and like all these other things that make him likable.
Yeah.
But on paper, he's a scumbag. This movie is just like, yeah, he sucks.
Yeah. We're resigned.
We're giving you a Batman that sucks.
Yeah, we're resigned.
All the cool shit you like about Batman, not in this one.
Get it out of here. It out of here.
Danielle's other, like, her what her big note was, Alfred is hotter than Batman. And I was like, you know what? Yeah.
You're damn right he is. You're damn
so
right.
Here's kind of, I'm gonna go through my notes kind of.
Yeah, yes, please.
So I have here 2 years. Do people know who Batman is or not?
Yes.
Because they establish, okay, he's been doing this 2 years. And in the opening sequence, there are several crimes being committed where someone's about to commit a crime, but then they don't because they're scared that Batman's gonna show up. Yeah. And he doesn't. But then there's these punks on the subway that their MO is just to beat a man up, not to rob him.
Beat him up. There's just bleeding into gangs, sort of.
Said knock his ass out. Just a random man, whatever. Then Batman shows up, and the head of these punks is like, "The hell are you supposed to be?"
Yeah.
It's been 2 years. Everyone else is afraid. How do you not know?
How do you guys not know who the Batman is? Especially because the city, there's a city sponsored signal seemingly in the sky.
You've seen this before.
Yeah.
You've seen this light in the sky before. So I don't know who Batman, how long. They say 2 years, but it's so inconsistent with how capable he is.
Yeah, he's
not good at it.
Yes, and he's been doing this for 2 years. So for me, the story that works, because it does. It tries to set like this contrast between, hey, we have Batman who does this at the beginning and then Batman who does this at the end. Is you do the same stuff, maybe not with who are you supposed to be? Like Batman goes out and he beats up punks, and that's all he's doing. To me, that makes sense. That's all he's doing. All he's doing is going out every single weekend, going out, Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, and beating the shit out of criminals. That's all he's doing. And then this mystery happens, and he goes,
"It's his first big task."
Yes, and he goes, "I'm gonna try to solve this.
I'm taking this on."
Yeah, great. I'm gonna solve it. I'm gonna actually change something. Discovers the plot. Where the Wayne charity is being used to fund crime, all of that stuff, finds his connections to his father, and then goes, okay, so from now on, we're not just going out and beating up poor criminals anymore. Now it's time to deal with the corruption that's inside of the city.
Mhm.
That's it. That's your thing. He goes from the thing that people always talk about, which is all Batman does is beat up poor people, which is literally what he does throughout the entire movie anyway, and then goes, shit, you know what? They're right. I'm part of the problem. I'm literally just, and I'm a cop in bad ears. I gotta like, now it's time to really work on this, on the corruption that's inside of the city. But instead, no, we get another. Yeah,
they can't do that because it's Hollywood, and this movie is going to make a lot of money. Therefore, it's going to get a sequel, and the sequel has to be Batman beating up poor people. we just can't not have it.
It was nuts to me. It was truthfully crazy to me that the back end of it, when we start out with like them, almost like Matt Reeves even says in interviews where he's like, we've heard the people talking about how they think that all Batman does is beat up poor people. Like we understand that that's a problem. So this movie is supposed to address that. And the only thing that he addresses it is where the mayor talks to him and he goes, yeah, I'll donate to your charity.
Thank you, Batman.
There are 15 teenagers who like cannot pay their hospital bills
because you put them there. I have here actor playing Jim Gordon. I didn't look up his name. I had a real problem with his delivery. He's doing his best Danny Glover impression.
I love this actor. The thing that I do not like about him with the way that he is communicating with Batman is it feels too much like it is just a guy. You know what I'm saying? It feels like
almost like the 80s Batman movies, or the 90s Batman movies where Jim Gordon is just kind of there.
Because everybody is Jeffrey Wright is the name of the actor. Everybody is looking at him, and rightfully so. He walks into the building, and they're all like every single cop and every single actor in the background is playing okay, it is a 6'4" man in metal armor who's walking around and examining the scene. And that should feel like something, as opposed to, hey man, don't touch that. which I believe is a thing that he says.
Chain of evidence or whatever. That's what towards the end, chain of evidence or whatever. He's wearing gloves. That doesn't matter. What do you
he's a gigantic, stinky, because it has to stink, bat creature who you're not 100% you're not entirely convinced is human. Right. Like for me, that has always been the aspect of Batman that makes sense to me, is he dresses up like a giant bat because the majority of people who see him in the dark when he's beating them up think that this is a fucking giant bat that lives in the city and chases down poor people. It's like La Chupacabra, you know what I mean?
Right, yes.
Yeah. So like to them, anytime anybody sees Batman, they should be like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Right.
Oh my God.
Starstruck.
Yes.
That's what Danielle said too, is that like no one reacts to Batman
the way that they should react to when he goes.
He's just casual,
he goes to the club like that, and they're like,
oh hey.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we've established that criminals are terrified of this person. Some of them, not all of them. Some don't know who he is. And even if you don't know who he is, you're still gonna react to this giant man in a metal bat suit. But no one's starstruck like in Spider-Man. Anytime someone sees Spider-Man, their eyes get real big. It's awesome. Or any other Batman media, it's Batman's here. It's a big deal. He's like a celebrity. He's been doing it for 2 years. But
rightfully so. He is a man in a gigantic bat costume who you cannot figure out who he is. You do
which is
not
silly,
know.
by the way. I'll get to that, but it's
Yeah.
silly that no one knows who he is.
Yeah, nobody's figured out that it's Bruce Wayne. Yes, I feel that same way. I was like, somebody at this point would have been like, hey, I'm pretty sure that's Bruce Wayne. I'm pretty sure that's
The
Bruce Wayne.
I wrote down Nirvana and then I drew an eye roll emoji.
Yes.
I'm sure when they picked that song, they were like, "Oh, it's gonna look so deep," and it does look like something that's deep, but it's very surface level, and it's a very lazy Nirvana song that is just gibberish.
Yes, it is. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't affect the story. There, his Reeves reasoning behind it is that this Batman is 30 years on the dot, when he lost his kids at 8 years old, that would have been a hit on the radio.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
See, I said the same.
Was it a hit though?
Yeah.
I don't. To me, all it adds to like the moodiness of Batman.
and
Like, oh, this
and
Batman is very moody.
his thinking is Batman's parents died, so the only shit that he's listening to is shit like that. Is Nirvana.
But okay, but he's 30 now.
He's grown up a little bit.
The movie has not given me a reason for him to be quite so moody.
No, other than his parents are dead. Okay, yeah, I know. Trust me, this is the Batman backstory. I get why he's Batman. Yeah, I understand that he's sad. In fact, if my parents were dead, I would probably be a little sad too.
Mm-hmm.
But am I gonna go out every single week, like 5 nights a week at least?
Mm-hmm.
If he's not recovering from getting
again
shit
for
beaten
2
out of him.
years.
For 2 years, he's been doing this now. So 5 nights a week for 2 years, seeing criminals, chasing them down, beating them up, and like there's something more. And I get the journaling thing too, where the Riddler journals and he journals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Where they're both like serial killers. You know what I mean? That's what they're doing. Look, they're both like like meets like, except he's super physical. He's good at fighting, and Riddler's not. But honestly, Riddler is smarter than him. Riddler confirms with his plan, with his plot, that he is in fact smarter than him.
Mm-hmm.
He's like,
but not even close.
I beat
He didn't get caught. He wanted to get caught. It was part of his plan.
You arrest me, and then I'll be safe in the jail while the seawall blows up. He won.
He did. That's why, again, I don't know why he was so upset at the end. He failed at no point. Batman did not thwart him to do anything.
He's the only people he didn't kill were the mayor and Bruce Wayne. That's it. And guess what? The mayor and Bruce Wayne weren't even involved in the criminal thing. You could write that off straight up. He didn't even have to. It didn't even have to be like, oh yeah, I got to kill Bruce Wayne. Other than his compulsion to, which I get, he's a serial killer. But honestly, if I'm him, I chalk that up. I say, hey, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yep. I mean, yeah. And I don't know. I will say I wrote down eye makeup. I like it. I did like that they keep the eye makeup on. I've always wanted that. It's so silly to not have the eye makeup
either
on.
the lenses or eye makeup. One of the two. I feel that. I think that's a good artistic choice too. And because they wanted him to be moody, the eye makeup is the thing that they chose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but either one, white eyes or eye makeup, yes, and then
correct. I wrote down watching Selena change.
Yeah.
They really make us they're giving me nothing to like this Batman. No, I don't want to root for this person. No. He's established as a creep because there's no reason for him to watch her change. Even I don't feel any chemistry towards these two characters. Every bit of quote unquote romantic chemistry seems forced, and by forced I mean literally forced. He literally throws her on a table and puts himself in a position oh, are they gonna kiss? Well, he put himself there. It's not
It's not some kind of
It's not a will they, won't they. It's he wants this to happen. Like
Yeah.
he's definitely maneuvering for this.
because he feels like he's so utterly desperate for some sort of romantic contact with
Mhm.
her. Like every single thing that they do is
Mhm.
like it's like he's really he's pushing the lines.
Mhm.
Like at one point he like you said, he really grabs her and he like
Mhm.
yanks her. And it's like,
Mhm.
don't do that, man.
It
Yikes.
felt like what they tried to do is that typical scene where it's like they're fighting,
And
but
then it
it's
turns
close to
romantic.
romance, but
Yeah.
it's not. No, he's fighting his way into this romantic
Yes,
position.
that is exactly what it felt like to me
Super
too.
uncomfortable.
And you know what? Him saving her when she goes to Falcone's place to sneak
Mhm.
around, and he follows her, and then like they fight for a little bit, and then they're like then he
That's what
grabs
I'm
her. And
talking about. Yeah.
the she should be the one
Mhm.
who stops him and goes, shut up. Because
Mhm.
she's the one who's good at sneaking, and he is not. He is a
Nope.
6'4" Terminator. We have established that this man is walking around and he's bulletproof. Like
But then
literally,
again,
people are shooting him with machine
had they
guns.
been caught, the security guard would have just said, "Oh, hey,
Yeah.
what are you doing here?"
Oh man.
Not
Who
acknowledge
you
that he's a
supposed to
fucking
be?
6-foot bat at all. Just,
Yeah.
oh, hey,
Oh,
you're not supposed to be here. If you could leave, sir, that'd be great.
yeah. Oh, you know what? You guys aren't supposed to be on the premises. All right, empty your pockets. Get out of here.
The him following her there, from him following her to her place to following wherever she's going, there is a lot of time. This sequence is very long
Yes.
with no dialogue.
Can be very much shorter. You're absolutely
Oh
right.
my god.
We're riding on the motorcycle and they're showing us the different streets and there's lots
Mhm.
of rain. It's very rainy in Gotham. They do need the seawall with this decision. But it's but it's
I mean,
very rainy in Gotham.
they could have just cut to that, like not necessarily cut to, but like make the montage a little bit shorter.
Yes.
It's almost like they made a decision. This is going to be a 3-hour
3 hour movie.
movie.
Yes. It is
Now
exactly what they
let's
did.
make it.
I'm almost certain that that's what they did because there was so much in there that is just padding, is
Mhm.
just scenery, is just us looking at stuff, is just them tone setting that they can do faster, that they can do quicker, that they can do more sleekly. Like truthfully, this stuff can all go.
Mhm. As opposed to, we really can't cut anything out of this to shorten it. It's going to have to be 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's
It's
nope. This is a 3-hour movie.
to tell this story, we have to have all this stuff. Otherwise,
Mhm.
none of it's going to make sense. No,
Stretched for time.
yeah, the back end, a couple of these other shots. I mean, even when they're saying bye to each other, like them driving off and stuff like that, it's too long. We're literally
wrap-
following them for 5 minutes.
There are like 4 or 5 wrap-up scenes.
Yes.
Like we're putting a bow on this 5 times. Like we don't need this.
Yeah, they stand on the building where they had the first time where they were like, oh hey, we think we kind of dig each other.
Mhm.
On the back end, right? Hey, I'm leaving. Oh, you should just come with me. No, I can't. You know, it's Gotham. She's like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. And then they get on the motorcycles and then they drive the motorcycles for 5 minutes. And then they get to the end of the road. They have a conversation at the end of the road and then split
Although
up.
we've come to the end of
Yeah.
the road. But I can't let you go. We have to have this little interaction, even though Danielle and I were talking about how like they said goodbye.
Yeah.
Then drove in the same direction
Yeah.
for so long. It's like when you do that in person, like on foot, it's the
start to get
most awkward
weird.
thing.
Yeah,
But they're
feels
just
weird.
doing it on motorcycles inexplicably.
And I really do think Reeves is striving so hard for some semblance of authorship. He wants to be he wants this movie to be considered an art film, which is why we have all of these really long driving things, because like and all these really long shots at one point of view that could be faster, because he wants you to go, oh, look at the scenery. Oh, look, they're riding on the same path and now they're diverging artistically. Doesn't that make sense? It's like you could have cut Catwoman from this movie and none of us would have missed it. Yeah, she does not have the the agency in this plot that she needs to have been necessary in this movie.
Mhm.
Hell, you could have cut 2 of the gangsters. Like Colin Farrell is, I think, great as the Penguin. I think they should
My
have just
favorite
cast
part
a
of the
fat.
movie.
I think they should have just cast a fat person, but I do think he was
Yeah.
great. Yeah. I think he did fantastic. If he's the most interesting part of the film, then why isn't he the bad guy?
The main bad guy. Yeah, that's I couldn't answer that.
I mean, the next film is obviously going to be him in charge of the mob since Falcone's dead now.
Right.
Which,
Hopefully.
which they're setting themselves up for sequel. But like,
Mhm.
if you have to work so hard to set yourself up with a sequel so that you have a story that you leave like glaring plot holes, then you don't deserve a first movie. You know what I mean?
Nope.
If you're like, I got to set myself up, we got to set ourselves up for a sequel. It's like, just
Batman as a concept. You don't need to set up a sequel.
He has
you can
villains.
just have a singular story. There's plenty to go off of. You can have a singular story, and if you don't make a sequel, you don't make a sequel. But if you need to make a sequel, you've got plenty to work with.
They do it in comic books all the time. Like literally all the time. It's like, oh, this person got arrested. Okay, they're in jail. Hey, guess what? This person shows up. This person. And then when they showed this cheesed me. When they showed the Joker who they had in the movie, they showed the scene that they were going to put in. First off, the fact that they had extra scenes is ridiculous.
It's insane. There was something you cut from this movie?
Wow, that's surprising because I don't know if you know this, but this was a 3-hour endeavor.
Oh, I'm well aware.
Joyless. Joyless. He looks gross. It looks gross. It looks joyless. The design doesn't look fun and villainous the way that I want Batman stuff to look. It's a man. It is a man dressed as a bat who has been trained by ninjas to fight crime. He's
silly.
He's 6'3". It's silly.
Let it be silly. A little silly.
Yes.
I understand wanting to have a serious take on it, but we already have Batman movies with serious takes that are so much better than this.
Yes. The Dark Knight trilogy does this better. And not only does it do it better, it also makes Batman out to be an intelligent person.
And likable.
Or the people, or the people of Gotham. He or the people of Gotham shine. In that first movie, when he like, oh, hey, the train derails the train, whatever, he defeats the villain. Hey, he did it, right? In that second movie, in The Dark Knight, when the Joker's like, oh, they're gonna kill each other. Like, no matter what, these people are gonna kill each other. They're either on the ship with a prisoner boat or the evacuation boat. They're gonna kill each other, and then they don't. And he's like, you were wrong. Like, these people are good people.
They prove themselves worthy of being saved.
Yes. Like, there you go.
There's a reason for this movie to happen.
Yes. Yeah. They're so much more fun. They're more fun. You have fun. You have, even with Heath Ledger's, like, he has jokes. He has stuff that he does that's genuinely funny.
Fun.
Yes.
Fun and funny. Yes.
Yeah. See, that's funny. He's got a plan that Batman is behind on until he catches up. Oh, he's doing stuff. Okay, that's bad. This person died. Shit. Okay, I'm gonna catch up to the plan. Not the Joker gets caught and then he goes, I'm not done with my little plan yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
Here's another part of this.
You're not gonna stop. You're not gonna stop anything.
And I want to get to that, the psychology of that plan, by the way. But I wrote down drop. They made up a drug.
Silly. Yes. Okay. Thank you. So it being so serious and then being like, we're going to make up a drug. I said, just let it be heroin.
Say heroin.
I said that to Brooke in the movie theater. He said, "Oh yeah, we're a drop deal." And I said, "So it was like,
oh, drop heads."
I said, "Is that
and they don't they don't do a good job. You kind of have to figure it out for yourself. What the hell is drop?
Oh, I guess it's a drug.
It's a drug. I don't know what.
I said, "Is this a drug?" She was like, "Yeah." I said, it could have just been heroin.
It could have been any drug.
Yeah, it could have been. It could have been cocaine. It could have been heroin. It could have been
It could have been
whatever.
crack. It could have been meth.
If they want it to be like a fun one, like one of the like party ones, hey, it's ecstasy. But
Yeah.
it's a club. Penguin's an ecstasy dealer. Okay, cool.
Well, they wrapped it in fun packaging and everything. Like,
It's like it might as well just
ecstasy.
be ecstasy.
This
It's
is
Molly.
ecstasy.
Yeah.
Just say it's Molly.
Yeah.
Drop. What the fuck is that?
Especially because isn't the movie rated R?
I have no idea.
Oh, it's either rated R or PG-13. Either way, you can say if it's PG-13, you can definitely say Molly.
Right. Or anything. Like,
yes.
I don't know. There's other nicknames for drugs that already exist. Like base. Like, I don't know. Drop is just so dumb. I wrote, he's not hiding that he's Batman.
At all.
At no point should anyone ever question whether or not Bruce Wayne is Batman. He is a recluse. He's a recluse who shows up once, and when he shows up at a funeral, like, he is Batman.
Yes. And then he disappears, and then he goes back, and hey, guess what? Batman shows up.
I was like, oh yeah, the guy showed up in the car with the phone or whatever. Cut to several hours later, which I'm surprised they cut at this point.
Yeah.
And then here comes Batman in full armor. I was just like, is no one wondering, hey, where'd Bruce Wayne go?
Yeah.
He was at the funeral because everyone acknowledges that he's there. It's a big deal.
They're all there. Oh my God, Bruce Wayne. You're absolutely right. Bruce Wayne. Oh, hey, the mayoral candidate comes up to him and is like, hey, Mr. Wayne, like you're a recluse. You never show up, blah, blah, blah.
The way he stands when they open the door at the club when he's Batman versus Bruce Wayne is
exact same. Yeah, and they're trying to do that. Matt Reeves is trying to do that to be like, hey, like, look, mirrors. But again, it doesn't work because it feels
so
stupid. Obvious. Yes, he's okay. So Bruce Wayne's Batman.
It adds to, I like the look of the suit. But the cowl shows way too much face, like complete ass jawline. That's a very distinctive one. Like this is that guy looks like Bruce Wayne. He acts like Bruce Wayne. He's just as moody. He doesn't disguise his voice very well. Why are we pretending that this man's not Batman? It's the Clark Kent thing.
That someone hasn't. Yes. And you know what? I defend this with my life about Clark Kent. If you saw, the thing about Clark Kent is if you had Superman, a man who flies, can lift an ungodly amount of weight, shoot fire from his eyes, breathe ice, you know what I mean? He's impenetrable to bullets. You would assume that man did not have a personal life. Superman does whatever the fuck he does when he goes away, and he's not a human being working at a newspaper.
There is no mystery of who is this person.
Yes, it's not.
He might as well just be on another planet.
Yes, because he doesn't wear a mask. Right. Lois Lane, Perry White, Jimmy, them being in with like, yeah, Clark is Superman. That doesn't bother me at all. Other people, because you mess up your hair enough, you wear baggy enough clothes, you put on glasses, and like truthfully, people sometimes will like there are wrestlers who I have seen who like have not been in stuff, and I've been like, I didn't even like, dude, like they were talking to me, and then I was like, holy wow, I didn't even realize that was you. You know what I mean? People who have face-to-face interactions with Superman being like, I know that Clark is Superman. Like, I would have to be an idiot not to.
Right.
To me, that makes sense. Same thing, though, has to go for Batman because he is not hiding it at all. And, like, look at him. If, like, he goes to the Penguins. Like, he goes to the Penguins, and he's, like, he is this close to his face. Yes. being like, I'm gonna beat you up, blah blah blah. Like, look at me, I'm blah blah blah. And then he
Penguin should for sure be
like Bruce Wayne's Batman.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Something familiar about you.
Yeah,
Can't put my. They could have at least just given me that, just a little something familiar about you. Can't put my finger on
even
it.
even I think there's in one of the movies he's talking and somebody go, oh no, in the Dark Knight when they're talking about Harvey is at the restaurant and they're talking about Batman and like somebody takes like a napkin and puts it like they put it over over his face just to, like for the perspective. Even if somebody from there was like saw him from far away and was like nah, you know what I mean? Like
right.
just to be clued into like people aren't dumb.
But to just pretend like no one notices or even questions
at all.
How much disbelief am I supposed to suspend? There's so many people so close to him at this funeral.
Yes. And I think the aspect of it is they're sitting there and they're staring at us and they're going, it's not silly. It's not silly. Like this is not silly. Do not act like it's silly. It's not silly. It's not fun. And then doing the fun and silly stuff that you would do with Batman that makes Batman fun and silly. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But without
any silliness.
Yeah.
It tries too hard.
So then it's stupid. Now it's like stupid.
The polar opposite of like the Schumacher films.
Yes.
Where it's who cares? It's silly. It's a comic book. No one cares about anything. Let's just go.
The way that
and those are fun to watch at least.
We watched the Batman Forever. We watched Batman Forever, and I was like, you know what? I was like, say what you want because I know that at this point in time, everybody is so beholden to this serious version of Batman, but how quickly after seeing that schlock that I was forced to watch, how quickly they get into the Riddler's pathos, how quickly they introduce. It starts off with Two-Face committing a crime, and real quick they go, "This is Two-Face's backstory, real quick on the news, and go crime."
Right?
Yeah. Great. Fast.
Yeah, please wrap it up, speed it up.
Fast. I'm sitting there like he can even have less words. I don't even need because I read comic books. I know exactly who this is.
Body language. I got it. So this is the thing that maybe bothered me. Maybe the whole third act bothered me the most, but below that is Batman. They kind of touch into the maybe Batman's parents weren't such good people.
Yeah.
And they have 4 or 5 scenes kind of going into that. And then on the 6th scene, they're like, nope.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Good. No,
they were good.
And you and I talked about this, about how it could have been, that's the perfect driver to get him away from saying, hey, I'm beating up poor people, to going, I'm going to fix corruption in the city because even my parents were corrupt. I'm I'm broken up about their death. It's very sad. But guess what?
Give me a reason for him to be moody.
Yeah,
that would make him moody. Like that makes sense.
There it goes.
Like I've seen like iterations of Batman where they've done that, where it's his parents were scumbags. He's lived his whole life defending them, and then finding out that they were not good people. They were just as corrupt as everybody else. Go with that. Give me something, not just just kidding. No, they're good. They're good.
Never mind. Your parents were good people. It's like even if it does come down to it. Carmine Falcone showed up at his doorstep. Hey, I've been shot. I can't go to any of the hospitals. You have to help me. I mean, like, I get it. His Hippocratic oath. Like, I gotta help people because I'm a doctor. But guess what? This is the biggest crime lord in the world. Like, this is like you're making this guy out to be the devil, and like they spend the entire movie being like Carmine Falcone is the worst, even though, to be frank, he's actually not that bad.
No.
Also
very likable.
Yeah,
very likable.
Yeah,
way more likable than Bruce Wayne.
I'm on a little tangent on Carmine. So to me, right, they didn't make and this is why don't put Catwoman in the movie.
Mhm.
They don't let you know whether or not Carmine knew that she was his
Yeah.
daughter.
Mhm.
And at the beginning, when she first talks to him, and he's like something like, oh, I'm not used to seeing you down here, blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
Like where it makes it seem as if he was like, hey, you're not allowed to be down here. You know
Right.
what I mean? When they like in that part of the, and she's like, no, I'm just they asked me to come down. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's like, does he know she's his daughter or not? Because then you
Right.
get to the back half and they're talking, and she says something, and then she says something like, "Oh, Dad," and he like looks at her, and then he's like confused. And I was like, no, I thought he knew. I thought that was the whole dynamic that we were saying, was that he
Mhm.
wasn't a good father, but he was trying to do his, like, he was trying to protect his,
Mhm.
his own flesh and blood. I thought that was the whole point. I thought the whole
Yep,
thing
but
was
they
they don't
they
know what they
can't
want to do.
they don't commit to it. Like they do. That's two things that we just discussed are just things they don't want to commit to. Have the balls to go
Yeah.
one way or the
Yeah.
other.
It's
Just
because that turmoil is the flip side of Batman. Oh, look at that. You want to do mirrors? Hey, look, honestly, Carmine Falcone wants to protect his daughter. He knows it's
Mhm.
his illegitimate daughter. He
Mhm.
hired her in his club, and he said specifically, "You're not supposed to be downstairs. Downstairs is where we do all the crime stuff." And guess
Mhm.
what? One of these days,
I
when
don't
one of
want
these,
you around
yeah,
here.
yeah, when one of these cops gets the balls to come down here and arrest one of us for it, I don't want you to be the person
Mhm.
who it is. Great. I want you to be fully clean and culpable, because then
Mhm.
he's doing a thing that out of the love of his heart, he's actually a
Mhm.
good father. And then, oh no, he's also a scumbag. There are layers. Same thing. Bruce Wayne loves his parents. They were tragically murdered by crime lords.
Mhm.
Did they have their hand in the crime of Gotham City?
Mhm.
Yeah. It doesn't make it any less tragic that they were
Nope.
murdered. Yeah.
It's a much more interesting story.
Yes.
Like
It makes him rich and deep, as opposed to
Mhm.
like, I'm
I'm
sad.
bummed.
Yeah. Yeah. He spends the entire movie bummed.
I kept thinking about Jimmy Fallon used to do a bit during the peak of Twilight called Robert is Bothered, and
Yeah.
it's just him pretending to be Robert Pattinson, like sitting in a tree being moody and just be
Sure.
bothered.
Yeah.
Like he kept saying, this bothers me." Like this
Yeah.
is
I'm
what I felt. This
bothered.
Batman is bothered.
Yeah,
He's
he's
like,
bothered. He's
just
Batman is bothered. It's yeah, and it's the entire film is like, he's like you said, he's not charming. He feels like, and I get it. I get what they're trying to do, which is like, he's there and he doesn't have a lot of life experience, so like his interactions with Catwoman feel like
Mhm.
virginal. They feel
Mhm.
virginal, and that's what
Yep.
that's what they're trying to go for. But like, they don't play it in a way that doesn't feel like, God, this guy's a
Gross.
creep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Gross.
gross. Yeah.
So then I wrote down whole third act. Everything after the Riddler was captured, so inconsequential. None of it makes any sense. It's a very not Riddler thing to do,
Yes.
to just be like, "Fuck it, I blew up the seawall."
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't feel like it's
If
not.
it
It's
were the Riddler, that could have been any other villain, and they could have put it in another movie.
yeah.
Fine,
That's a joke.
whatever.
It's a Joker thing. Hey,
Joker.
actually, you caught me. Great.
Mhm.
I put bombs all over the city. So the thing that made me the most mad, was that if at any point during the movie they had been letting us know that something was up
Mhm.
with the vans.
Came out of nowhere.
Yeah. So like, my fix, and this is my fix for it, was while we're doing all of these scenes, there are random vans that are marked with the
Mhm.
chalk question marks that he does,
Mhm.
because Batman keeps going by them. You know what I mean? He keeps
Mhm.
like, maybe near the back end, like we see him, like they're in the forefront and we see him when he passes by, but
Mhm.
Batman's not seeing him. And then
Or he
later,
sees them, looks at them on his bike, keeps going about his business.
he must be nearby. Something
Mhm.
is, hey, instead of checking it out, which would have been his better judgment. Hey,
Mhm.
that is a question mark on it.
Because then there's a riddle that he's just not seeing. It's in front of
Yeah.
his face the whole time.
Yeah,
Because I was saying the Riddler there would have been some sort
would
of
have let him.
riddle.
Hey,
There would have been, hey, here's a series of 7 riddles to represent each van. You have to go to these locations to solve them, defuse the bomb, like the Arkham games or whatever.
Yeah.
But nope, fuck it, blew up the seawall. Fuck you, Batman.
Yeah, and they don't even make mention of the seawall.
Until the very end.
Yes, up until they're like,
I didn't even know there was a seawall, but now it's blowing up.
Somebody said, we had a seawall? There was the thing that he kills the guys with.
Mm-hmm.
Is supposed to be the big key to all of it. It's supposed to be, oh, hey, that's the thing that he, right, the little carpet thing. And maybe it's like when he got to because he had the thing at the apartment the first time he goes there. So it's like if he had realized what it was when it was at the first, when he was at the thing the first time, he would have been able to stop the bombs. Right. But also that doesn't involve any kind of intelligence. That's not a mind game. It doesn't involve wit. It's not a test like what he's been doing. Hey, you are El Rada stuff. Very clever. Thought that was very cute. The random, like the thumb drive setup, like gruesome, but like, yeah, hey, he's doing like it's cute, like adorable. Okay, he's like, it's like 7, except he's
a little stinker.
Except he's the Riddler. Yeah, look at him. But truthfully, like that. Oh, hey, I figured out that this is a carpet thing, and he had carpet in his house. No, dude, this looks like a big bludgeon object.
Yeah, it could have been. It's not. It's also that, like, they didn't know he lived there until the very end. There's plenty of other places with carpet. Shit, they're vans. Maybe the vans have shag carpet. That's where you have to get to the fucking thing to defuse the bomb. I don't know. Something to tie. Like it's
there's like 2 steps missing away from it being the kind of thing where you're like, wow, that was smart. Yeah, he should have known. He should have figured it out. If Batman really was smart. But like at the end of the movie, you're just like, well, Riddler's smarter than he is.
He just is.
Yeah, Riddler beat him. He saved nobody in this entire film. All of the corrupt people, all the corrupt politicians die. Alfred gets put in the hospital. The mayor gets shot, which like
Alfred, who he's shitty to, is in the hospital.
Yeah, Alfred, who he's terrible to, is in the hospital.
The mayor no one cared about got shot.
Yeah,
but survives. She's fine, but like it's not Batman's doing that. She survived. She's just terrible marksman.
Jim Gordon saves her.
Oh, well, there you go.
She gets shot, but like she's going out, and he goes, "Oh no, something's wrong!" And then boom, they shoot her. She gets whiffed. Right. He grabs her, pulls her down. Hey, look, Jim saved her.
They don't evacuate the city.
No,
when it floods, which does not make sense.
Yeah, it's a seawall. You gotta go to.
Catwoman is on her way out of the city.
Yes,
they stop her and say, everyone has to pile into Gotham Square Garden.
Yeah.
Which, okay, if it's Gotham Square Garden, that means it is New York.
Yes.
The entire population of New York does not fit in Madison Square Garden.
They don't fit in
there's plenty of skyscrapers. What? Why? By the way, Danielle pointed this out. I didn't even notice. Gotham Square Garden, like the auditorium where everyone is below sea level.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when it floods, it all comes crashing downward.
Well, I mean, literally that's what happens in the damn movie. The place floods. Mm-hmm. Gotham Square Garden floods. It's like,
because it's under sea level. Yeah, why was this the plan?
Why is this where we're putting people? No, get them out of the city. That's what everybody. No, stop.
But what do they do after when we're wrapping up? Evacuate the city. There's helicopters taking everyone out. So we could have evacuated the city.
So we could have done it.
But we needed this plot device.
Yeah. We could have done it then. We could have gotten everybody out. We could have from like I read up so much Batman stuff just to prepare for this, and from what it seems like is it has the vision, like has a vision of like the same gloom and doom that the same gloom and doom that the Superman vs. Batman and the Man of Steel movies had. It has that same level of like darkness and grit and like gloom for no reason that stuff had. But then instead of being like, oh, because this is part of the world, this is just a really dark take on Gotham. And Ben Affleck's in this one. They were like, well, we can't use Ben anymore because we're kind of ditching that idea. So let's retool this entire script to be something different. And it feels like every single aspect of that movie is something that has been taken from a Batman movie and done worse and not fun. Worse and not fun is not what I want in any single superhero movie. I love when people take superhero genre, like the superhero genre movie, and then add another, hey, this is a superhero genre movie, and it's a detective movie.
Elevate it,
yes.
Change it, like just a worse version of what we already have is what we had, and twice as long.
Yes.
So there's one scene in the third act that I just kind of want to maybe put a bow on it with this, because I feel like this kind of sums up the whole movie for me. And it's in the third act. There's this dangling piece of electrical equipment.
Yes.
While the city is flooding and everyone's in the water, so Batman's worried about it falling and whatever.
Shocking people. Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
But like. So Batman, they really build up this moment, like really chew it up. Batman jumps on top of it, pulls the Batarang off his chest, which is cool.
Finally,
but then
we get to see it do something.
Have him do Batman shit.
Yeah.
God forbid, cuts it and falls into the water. I mean, he could have just taken it off his chest, thrown it because it's a fucking Batarang, do some Batman shit. But like, no matter how I look at this scene, it's inconsequential.
Yes.
He did nothing.
Yeah.
He did nothing.
Because it was going to fall. It was going to
fall.
So
which would have cut the electric from it anyway.
Yes.
All you did was jump on top of it and fall with it.
Yeah. There you go. That doesn't. But that's the whole movie. That single act is every single thing that happens inside of the film. You're letting the problem happen, and then you're just adding Batman on top of the problem.
Absolutely. It's just, there's so many things he could have done differently, still wouldn't have solved anything because it wasn't as big a problem as he thought it was.
Yes.
He's just not good at his job. And then when he falls into the water, big dramatic scene that he jumps back up, which is crazy because it's like, oh, he might drown, but like he didn't have to be there. He didn't have to do that.
You didn't even have to get on there. You put yourself in that position. You're the one who should be worried.
Then he walks over to the mayor and pulls her out of a space that she could have easily gotten out of.
Yes. Like they're working very hard to go, hey, look, he's a hero. Hey, look, he's doing it. Hey, look, he's a hero. Hey, everyone, look. Look, Batman is a hero, because you guys all know that based on cultural norms and Batman movies that you've seen, when Batman picks up somebody or pulls somebody from somewhere or cuts something, he's doing hero stuff. Except inside of the context of the film, he's done nothing.
This movie is 3 hours of nothing. And again, I tell you, I was in the theater. It felt like a hostage situation. I kept saying, please let this end.
Yeah, let it
I
be
would
done.
like to go. I would dislike this movie at an hour and a half. I hated it 3 hours.
Matt, if you're going to do this again, if Matt Reeves is going to do this again, and I'm sure he will not ever see me say this, but you don't know, because he might. I'm
gonna tag on what I post.
Say, Matt, don't do this ever again to us.
Just
make them 2 hours. 2 hours 20 tops.
Tops.
But golly, don't ever get into the habit of thinking that a 3-hour movie is, one, justifiable, or two, if you don't have any story for that back third, then guess what?
You
It's a
don't need it.
2-act
Scrap
movie.
it.
Yeah.
So yep, that is 3 hours of nothing. So that was two cisgendered men complaining about a movie for an hour because there
Yeah,
isn't enough of that on the internet.
we're black though, so I think that is okay.
That's true.
Because
That's
this
true.
movie
There's
is primarily
the black man take on the Batman 2022.
yes. Yeah.
If you're listening or watching, thank you for sticking around this long. Still way shorter than the Batman. If you liked the Batman, I'm not sorry for what you just heard. You needed to hear it. It was it's a hard truth. Maybe I want to like a Batman film. I love Batman. I acknowledge that Batman as a concept is very problematic and kind of dumb. But I kind of turn my brain off and just watch Batman. It's cool when he punches stuff or whatever. So I wanted this to be a good film. It just isn't. It's just not.
Yeah.
No matter how many people tell me it is, it's not. Thank you so much, Eel, for having this conversation with me. I know we've been meaning to have a big in-depth conversation about it since the movie came out.
Yes, we need to talk about the Batman. We need to talk about how the expectations of movies that are supposed to be like great cultural events have let us down. I feel the same way about, I mean, like we'll give it a little bit of room, but I feel the same way about Multiverse of Madness. I feel the same way about Lightyear that I just saw. They have let me down because they are banking on the fact that they are big cultural events, but not banking
it's a
on
moment.
The fact there's not expectations. Yes, it's
like a Beyonce album.
Yes,
it's a moment.
It's a moment.
So no matter what, it's good because it's a moment.
Yeah.
But Eel, you have anything coming up you want to plug? Today is Tuesday that this is dropping. So
wrestling. Look at
this. I will allow talking about wrestling.
Yes.
Plugging your shows, please.
Follow Eel O'Neal at Eel O'Neal on Twitter. We'll keep you guys updated to what's going on.
Alrighty, fantastic. You can catch me at rockin_Radke on Twitter and Instagram. I'll have all my shows and stuff coming up. Future episodes I'll post about there. So please check that out. Eel, thank you once again for having this wonderful conversation about a terrible movie.
Thank you.
I love you very much.
I love you too.
I'll see you in the group chat, I guess.
Yeah, baby boy.
All right. That's a wrap. Let's rock, everybody.